Well, Kaley, thank you so much for being here with me on the Entrepreneurial Success Podcast. I am truly thrilled that we managed to get this podcast recording done here today. You and I have already met a few times, and you've been on such an amazing journey as well. Before we get started, why don't you just introduce yourself to the audience and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Well, thank you very much, first of all. Thank you for having me. I'm really honored to be here. And yes, my name is Kaley, just like you said. I am a 30-year young woman. Yes, I'm 38 years, yeah. And I was born in Zimbabwe, and right now I live in the Netherlands. I live in Amsterdam. My full-time job right now, I'm still employed. I work for KLM, the Royal Dutch Airlines. I'm a purser there. I've been doing that for nearly 16 years. However, my life has been one of many amazing experiences, challenging experiences as well. And that has brought me into some challenging times, I can say. And the last one is I'm just getting out of that. But that has been an amazing one, because that has brought me on this journey that I wanted to change my path in life and the way that I show up in the world and to other people. And that everything that has happened to me, everything that I've experienced, I feel that it has been for a reason. And with everything that I've learned, I would like to kind of give back and kind of share the teachings that I have had with other people. So yeah, my dream now, my goal now, and my aim is to help other people with my own story. And I heard something great that was I think that was Tony Robbins that said that, with Dean Graziosi, make out of your mess, make a message out of your mess. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I am doing that with Blessed as I Am. It started out as a blog in 2015, where I wanted to write down everything that was going on in my mind, like the struggles that I was having, the mental struggles, the emotional struggles. I was seeing all this picture perfect world. I think you can recognize some of that. You see all the Instagram posts and Facebook, and everybody is living so happily and so merrily. And I was like, but that's not how the world really looks like for me. And I just had the urge to just share. And I really enjoyed writing. And 2 years ago, I started doing my YouTube channel and giving a face to all the words that you were reading. And yes, I'm still doing that now. And now I am actually creating the actual service, an actual program for all the teachings that I have. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, no, it's phenomenal. And I think when you and I first met, it was obviously through a program that you and I did together. Yeah. It was Mindset Retreat that we joined, and we got connected that way. And instantly, you and I was just like, oh my gosh, you're from South Africa and you're from Zimbabwe. We're neighbors. And we just loved it. And we immediately connected, not just because we were neighbors, but also because there was this connection we had. And, whether it was from the fact that we already just had an amazing experience through the Mindset Retreat, but also it was that, we can relate to so much as to your story, as to what's going on. Other people could be going through similar situations. But talk to us a little bit about that, because you're now in the Netherlands, you're working for KLM, but at the side, you are starting this amazing journey where you're taking your experiences, you're now helping other women as well. And you've got a fantastic Instagram profile. I've been following you there as well. For those of you that don't know, we're going to make sure that you follow Kaley on Instagram. It is phenomenal. There's so many things that you talk about, and it is not just about the mental health and the physical health. It's also about what you put in yourself. And I love that, because you talk a lot about plant-based diets, how to eat healthy. And I love that, because that is something that I relate to. Being South African, yes, we do love a good barbecue every now and then. We do love eating some good meat. but also there's that aspect where you do need to think about plant-based diets in order to make sure that you have a clean system. Before we get started, talk to me a little bit about your journey, because obviously you said that you've been with KLM for 15 years now. How has that kind of evolved to where you are now? That experience of you making that decision one day that I want to take this journey and do something different. How has that evolved for you?
Yeah, on many levels. Of course, you have to be talking about nutrition. Well, we all know airplane food, right? And whenever you fly, that's just only for that holiday that you are eating it. But the job, it isn't easy. It is fun, but it isn't easy. Think about all the time differences. And whenever you are supposed to be sleeping, I am working. And so I've been missing a lot of nights throughout the years. And I have found that eating well is really important. So throughout my years, I started like making my own meals to take along the trips that I was having, because I was having a lot of layovers. And so that is part of the journey that I really learned, like how important it is to fuel your body with good stuff, and with homemade stuff and wholesome food. And so that's what I learned just by working, and just feeling at times that my energy was so low that I couldn't be at service for the people, in the right way. On the other hand, you were talking about the mental aspect. I said that I've been through like quite a bit in my life. I'm not sure if I can just share it with you. I'm quite open because it's all on the internet, and that's what I wanted to do, because I wanted to break that how do you call it, that stigma and that taboo that nobody talks about it, but like it's happening like in the same street that you're living in. So I was sexually abused from a really young age, from about 4 years old until I was like nearly 13, so almost for a decade. And that was done by my mother's husband. It's not my father, but my mother married him. And that started when I was still in Zimbabwe, because I moved to the Netherlands when I was around 8 years old. And that's because of him. He is Dutch, so he brought us to the Netherlands. And that continued on here as well, the abuse. So that has like the major impact on my life. And that is actually like, I can say, the core reasoning for all the mental health issues that I've had over the years. On top of that, it was quite lonely, because the man that abused me, he is of a status. So nobody was like really believing me. Nobody was behind me. And I had to deal with everything all by myself. That resulted in me being in and out of therapy from the age of 16. And so now I'm 38 and I'm still in therapy. I've had all sorts of therapy, because I just couldn't understand what was going on. And I didn't have anybody around me that I could talk to. Like, everybody was kind of sticking their head in the sand and just pretending that it wasn't there. And yeah, if you're just this little black girl from Africa, from Zimbabwe, that is brought into like the rich Western world, like, who am I, to speak up to all the elders? So my whole journey with my mental health, it has been one of like discovery. As I said, I've been in therapy from the age of 16, in and out, I must say. I've had all sorts of different types of therapy, like the traditional ones to the more alternative and like new stuff that I don't even know the name of it. But it was just because I wanted to be helped. I wanted to be seen, and I wanted to be heard. And so I think that is one of my greatest strengths, is that I don't really easily take no for an answer. And I keep on looking. I do believe that for everybody in this whole world, there's always a way. And even when you're so down and low, like there is always a way. When I say this, I kind of get emotional because 2 years ago, I was at the deepest point in my life and I didn't want to like live anymore. I'm not sure if you are familiar with all this on your podcast, but I don't have any shame for my story because I believe that, like you said, a lot of people go through this. And I believe in the quote, like, speak up and heal. Like, if you just stay quiet, it won't help you. Like, there is like strength in numbers. And for me, that translates in, if I know that there are more people going through it, then I know that I'm not alone, you know, then I know that I'm not like this rare, like strange, like person or something odd, you know? So yeah, I was really down. I didn't want to live anymore. And I was really tired of looking for help, tired of trying to make everything work because, like I said, I had been working for KLM back then. It was 14 years. I had done everything right, you know, went to university, even went to France to university. I bought my own house. I got a car, and you know, so all the picture perfect stuff that you are supposed to do, I had all that. But still, I felt like something was missing. Still, I felt that I wasn't living the life that I was supposed to be living. And yeah, I was tired. And that brought me to that I had to go on sick leave. And I've actually just started back flying again now. So this is like my first month back in uniform after 2 years of sitting at home and yeah, recovering and healing. So that has been a major journey for me as well, my mental health. And I have found that a lot of people are not really familiar with mental health in that way, or mental illnesses. And it pains me because it's not seen as like a real illness.
Yeah.
But it is. Like, there are so many people that are suffering because they aren't seen and aren't heard or aren't taken seriously for what they are going through. And yeah, so with my blog and with my YouTube, I wanted to shine a light on how it was for, like, how a person with a mental illness looks like, you know? So I could be all pretty and beautiful, but you would get to see and hear and read what was really going on in my mind and in my heart. So yeah, I'm
Well, firstly, I want to applaud you for being so powerful. And you said it earlier on before we started the recording that you're more powerful than you think.
Yeah.
And I want to say that for the audience as well. For those of you listening now and hearing Kaley's story, I mean, I've got tears in my eyes. I've got to hold it back. But I think it is so powerful, the fact that you've been through a journey like that and that you are striving to make a success. Like you said, one of your strong points is that you don't say no. And you don't say no to yourself either, even though 2 years ago you felt like giving up. Again, that strong point where you just realize that, no, I'm saying no to myself. I'm moving forward. And I'm so honored to have you here to share your story, because I do believe that there are some people here listening to this who are going through the same thing. And they are struggling. Now, for me personally, I have been fortunate. I haven't had any mental illnesses that I know of. But I do believe that you are right in saying that mental illness is not seen as an illness. That mental stability that everybody needs, that normality that everybody needs. But again, what is normal? What is normal in life?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can just say, oh my gosh, thank you so much for sharing your story. And
Thank you.
one of the things that you said is you are so powerful because now as well is that you're using your story. You're not scared of sharing your story anymore. When in the beginning, I presume it was getting out there, sharing it. But I think the fact that you started a blog, that kind of helped with those emotions. And also it's like journaling a blog. If you're going through things like that, it's like putting those emotions on a piece of paper, and that helps you. You're not just sharing it with people, with an audience, you're also relieving yourself, you're healing yourself in that way. And that's why I find so phenomenal. And that's why I'm so glad I've got you here to share your story, because people in the audience would relate to that, and they go, oh my gosh, if Kaley can do it, and if she's sharing her story, then I want to go and share my story. I want to make a difference for other people as well. So I'm so fortunate to have you here on the podcast, and I'm so sorry for starting to cry, but it is emotional.
No, not at all.
These things are emotional. You know, this is true. This is not just, you know, we're putting a front on. This is real. So talk to me a little bit, because obviously from the mental aspect, you spoke about the nutrition, about you working, obviously realizing that eating airplane food every single day might not be a good thing for you, and I can imagine. But talk to me, why did you decide, or why was it so important for you to go on a plant-based diet? What is the idea behind that?
Yeah, I am a person that likes to try new things and to challenge herself. This all ties in the quest of, like, there's always a way. And so I'm really open-minded into trying new things. And back then, I started in 2016, I think, on a plant-based journey. I had been doing like a sober challenge as well, not drinking any alcohol. I didn't want to have any distraction of like me and my mental and emotional health. So I thought that, you know, alcohol is not really the best at times. And especially if you are suffering from mental illness, I learned that it might seem like a good friend, but at the end, on the long run, it's not the best of friends. And the same goes with food. I really know when I am not on my best if I look at what I'm eating. And I found that when I think I came across this blogger. I think she was a raw vegan, and I was just interested in how she was living her life. And I thought, you know what, let me just try not the raw, but just the vegan lifestyle. So I challenged myself for a month. And another aspect is also, I love cooking. So it was a way for me to like experience like new ways of cooking and new ways of making your food like delicious and nutritious, and just more colorful, and just colorful in life in general. So I did that for a month, and I've never felt better in my life in that month. Like it was so amazing. It felt that everything that I was eating was supposed to be there. And I was making everything from scratch. So I wasn't making like the pre-made foods or things out of like, you know, the pots or packages. Like most of the stuff was just like homemade and like wholesome food. And I felt so good. I felt so strong. And I felt as if I was giving my body just what it needed. And it didn't have to work too hard to like digest everything. And another great thing was that I found out that with the way that I was cooking, that I could eat a lot as well. And still be like maintaining like the body that I desired. So from there on, I've been on and off like the whole plant-based diet. I don't like to call it vegan because I believe that veganism like is a whole different type, because that's like the clothing, like everything around you has to be plant-based. And I'm just starting now with the plant-based diet. And it's funny how when people like hear about my food, or when I bring it to work and they look at it and they're like, no, that can't be plant-based. Like, oh, that's too hard to eat plant-based. And I'm like, no, it's not hard at all. Like, it's so easy and it's so good. And yeah, it is a joy to eat plant-based. That's it. It is a joy. Yeah.
And I love cooking as well. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm smiling the whole time and shaking my head. My husband is French. So obviously with the French people, they love their food and they love meat as well, same as the South Africans. But for me, I started that we're only eating twice a week where we have something with meat in. But then the rest of the time, I cook everything that is vegetable. And it's so funny because last night I made a chickpea and vegetable curry. And I said to my husband, oh, I'm going to make a curry. And he's like, oh, you're going to make a chicken curry? I was like, no, it's going to be vegetables. And he's like, okay. Yeah. But then he ate it. We absolutely enjoyed it. We went back for seconds. And then sometimes, just ideas, or hey, sometimes I just go on Pinterest and I just type in vegetarian dishes, ideas, recipes, and the amount of things that come up just sparks that interest. And I get all creative in the kitchen. But I love it, and I agree with you, because since I started doing that, where we're eating 5 days out of 7, where we're eating vegetarian meals, it has made a huge difference for me. Since I started my business, I started picking up a lot of weight, because obviously sitting behind a computer, not exercising enough. And I realized fairly quickly that my health was spiraling. I was not feeling great. Mentally, I was always tired as well. I didn't feel creative anymore. I didn't feel like I just want to go out and walk my dog, even sometimes, which is something I love doing. And it's all to do with the diet. And I fairly quickly realized that. So I swung that around. And now I feel like I'm in the best place of my life. I've got much more energy. I'm feeling mentally stronger. And yeah, just enjoying every aspect of what life can offer. But I do agree with you that it does start with the diet. It does start with what you put in your body. And when you start eating healthier mentally, it starts making a difference as well.
Yeah. And what you said as well with the creative stuff, like whenever it's just so funny how everything ties in together, because whenever I don't feel on my best, like whenever I have like a challenging mental time, because I still have them, and I start eating like stuff that I don't really want to eat, but yeah, I think that I need it because it's like junk food or whatever. The first thing that I want to do to get back in like a good mind space and to like kind of distract myself, but also be creative, also be like maybe even a meditative state. Like I can be in the kitchen for hours. Like friends have told me, like, you are such a slow cook. Like you're a good cook, but you are slow. But I enjoy like cutting everything up, and I enjoy like creating as you go. And that already, I haven't even eaten anything yet, but that already starts the whole process of me getting into a better mindset, getting me into a healthier like mental state. And then eating that food, that is then the cherry on the top. And whenever I was going through my therapy, I don't know if you call it for my depression, because I was diagnosed with 2 things. We did our clinical depression with suicidal thoughts and complex PTSD. Mm-hmm. So for my depression, I got like the cognitive behavioral therapy. And they told me, like, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that. And I always found that when I fell off the wagon, the first thing that I needed to do was get in the kitchen. And that was the thing that like got the ball rolling in me feeling better again, me being able to think clearer, just like you said. Like food is so powerful. And if you know, like you maybe need to like take a little time to like investigate, or how do you call it, search some stuff. But what you said, Pinterest I love Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube, just put in Google whatever it is that you want to eat, even if it's not plant-based, but then ask for a variation of plant-based. Everything you can find, like what you like that's not plant-based, they have a plant-based version of it. So that's what I do as well. Whenever I feel like, okay, I want to try something new, and I just totally forgot my train of thought because I was thinking about like vegan pancakes now, but
That's okay. Anything you want to tell us about vegan pancakes, by all means, go for it. For those of you that don't know, Kaley, like I said, she's got an amazing Instagram profile, and she shares recipes and things that she cooks on there. And then sometimes you're an inspiration for me. You take a picture of a bowl with some amazing salad or something that you've made, and it's like, oh, that looks so good. I need to try that. So I sometimes even take screenshots of your posts.
yeah. Oh,
There was one that you made. What was it again? Was it a chocolate vegetable cake, or what was it? Something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was. I was in the need of some chocolate. I had a craving, so and I Googled something, but I didn't have all the ingredients, so I just like made something up, and it ended up being like a fusion between like a chocolate fondant, because it was really gooey, and a chocolate brownie. And I think it had only just like a few ingredients: chickpeas, dates, some coconut shavings, and I topped it up with some pistachios. It was so delicious. And I still have some because I put it in the freezer because I made like a whole loaf. So I put some in the freezer, and it's easy. And I didn't even put any like real sugar in it, just only plant-based stuff, what I had in the kitchen. And that's what I love as well. You can just, like, there are no rules to cooking in my eyes. Like, you can just combine whatever you feel like eating and whatever flavors you enjoy. Just combine them and just see how it turns out, and just like test, how do you call it? Taste every now and then, and just adjust if you need to. But that's one thing as well with, like, I like it that you said that you first did only 2 days, you know, with the plant-based meals. I've come back from that as well, because I can be like really hard on myself, that I like am like, it has to be 100% or otherwise it's not good enough. But now I'm like, no, we'll just see what works. And that's with the plant-based diet as well. When you first start off, don't expect to be 100% plant-based. Just maybe start with one meal a day, you know, what for 1 week, in 1 day in a week, you know, and then build it up to whatever feels comfortable for you. And yeah, I think that's really important. Like, don't ask too much for yourself, like straight away. Just try it out.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. And I think that you know, for those of you listening, I'm sure some of you your mouth started watering when she started talking about that chocolate cake. And well done for not eating all of it. But no, I think it just shows the importance as well is to, when you change your diet, when you start thinking a little bit more about what you're putting inside of yourself, just try it out for a short time. Like you said, you just tried it out for a month. And I'm not telling everybody what you should eat, but I am saying that, you know, if you are feeling maybe a little bit mentally stressed, you're feeling like you're lacking some energy, especially with the things as they are and what has been happening in the world, then I really suggest that you start thinking first to change something. Start thinking about your diet. Start eating a bit more healthier. Add some more vegetables in, you know, see if you are willing to cut out some meat maybe, but it's entirely up to you. We're not telling you what to do. We're just saying, look at your diet and start thinking about what you're putting into your body. And I think it's so important, if you, even for those of you who are running businesses, because I know the people here in my audience, huge influx of female entrepreneurs in particular, it is quite hard sometimes to stay positive and to keep running a business the whole time. But in order to have that mental stimulation, to find yourself feeling more creative, more energized, changing your diet will really help. So yeah, just give it a go. Challenge yourself, like Kaley said, 1 day a week. Just try it out and see how it works for you. And then stack it up. Try a little bit more, try a little bit more. But you will see the advantage. I promise you, you will see the advantage if you try and do it for a couple of weeks in a row. So Kaley, I just wanted to thank you so much for being here with us. And it's been phenomenal. Thank you so much as well for sharing your story. It has been such an honor to have you here. But before we go, I know that you've got a couple of freebies available for the audience. The first thing is you've got a 3-day plant-based what is it, a meal plan that you have available for those. So for those of you who want to take up the challenge, who wants to change your diet a little bit, Kaley is going to have that meal plan available, but also you've got a free call for people, a 45-minute call where they can have a chat with you as well if they want to learn a little bit more about you and see if there's any way you can help them.
Yes, that's right. And the meal plan, it will be breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. So it's like a complete, and it's only for 3 days, but you can interchange it and you can multiply it so that you have like a whole week full of food. And it is going to be delicious and diverse, I promise. The free call, I would be really joyed and blessed to have you on my call. Just see what I can do for you, because I believe that whoever you are and wherever you are in life, that you are so more powerful than you think you are. And I will be happy to share my story, and maybe you can take something out of it that can empower you to take the steps that you need to take for yourself.
Yeah, amazing. And thank you so much for making that available to the audience. I'm definitely intrigued. I want to see that meal plan that you've got coming up. So I'm definitely going to have a look at it. So for those of you listening, by all means, go down below in my show notes, go and make contact with Kaley and also download her meal plan, which she's going to make available to you. And then also, if you would like to leave us a comment or if you'd like to get in touch with Kaley, her Instagram handle will also be below in the show notes. So get in contact with her, and I'm sure she'd love to meet you. Kaley, yet again, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And good luck with everything else that's going on. Keep me updated. I'd love to know how everything is coming along for you.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. I really enjoyed it. It went by so fast, but that's good. Thank you very much.
Bless you. Thank you so much, Kaley. Take care.